Hi all, my name is Malika and today we are having a very interesting guest, Itay Alon. Itay is a private investor and a leading expert in startups, investments, fintech, and blockchain industries. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Itay, how did you first become interested in crypto?
Sure. So we can skip back to the background. I started to invest in cryptocurrency back in 2016, 2017, roughly. I invested in Ethereum alongside with my friends. Actually, it was my friends who convinced me to invest in Ethereum back then, and that's basically how I started. Then I shifted my entire career into the Web3 space 1 year later.
Nice, very interesting. And what are the main advantages of using crypto compared to traditional fiat currencies?
So I think that there are a few main advantages. One of the main advantages that specifically me seeing in the cryptocurrencies are the transparency and the security of the technology. I think that unlike traditional fiat currencies where mainly managed by banks, and you cannot see the transactions of your friend or your colleague, the usage of the transparency can have a very, very big impact on a lot of things. Among them are scams, to be honest. We just saw this weekend, we saw a scam that was made in the middle of acquiring cryptocurrency that was used in banks. And since there is no transparency and you cannot really see who made a transaction and when, you don't have the authenticity of the transaction, you are basically are able to see a lot of bad things that are going on in the market. So I think this is a very, very major advantage, as well as the accessibility, in my opinion, which is a very big thing. You can send any amount of money to the end of the world in just seconds without bureaucracy of banks and paperwork. So yeah, it's a very, very big advantage.
Yeah, totally agree. And do you have your favorite cryptocurrency? And if so, what is your favorite cryptocurrency and why?
It's a good question. It's not just one cryptocurrency. Obviously, I love a lot of cryptocurrencies, and love, it's a big word. I think that Bitcoin is the best cryptocurrency, simply because it shows the real values of the whole industry. Why we started this whole cryptocurrency and why is it where it is today. I think that Bitcoin show this set of values the best way possible. But I do see a lot of values in other cryptocurrencies. For example, Ripple. I think that Ripple have great value when it comes to the actual industries of financial use. So yeah, it's a question of what you're looking for when you're looking at cryptocurrencies. For example, I started to invest in Ethereum, but today, if you will ask me about Ethereum, I don't love Ethereum that much. I don't love it because you can see that a lot of other chains basically doing pretty much the same thing. And Ethereum is there simply because it was there first, but it doesn't mean that it's the best cryptocurrency or the best chain to use. I will correct, it's not the best chain to use, 100%, but it's the second cap cryptocurrency simply because it was there from the beginning. So you need to look at the aspects of what makes you love the cryptocurrency that you invest in.
Totally, thank you. Yeah, I thought you would say Ethereum because you started with it. Yeah, and Itay, what excites you most about the future of Web3?
Overall, as an industry, I think that the Web3 is basically the next internet. It's not something new. Everyone knows that. And there are a lot of aspects where this technology is gonna be implemented. Specifically regarding cryptocurrency, I think that it goes back to questions earlier, to the accessibility. The option that you will have to send crypto to anywhere on the planet and purchase anything that you want without having anyone else controlling your money and put you on a cap on how much you can send and where you can send it and when it's gonna be there. So yeah, that's what excites me the most. But there are a lot of interesting things. I've seen startups every day that trying to disrupt different markets within the Web3 space. So you see SocialFi, you see GameFi, you see DeFi, you see a lot of different industries within this industry that are gonna be exciting.
Yeah, totally. And you work with a lot of startups. What do you think? What are the key challenges you face when working on Web3 projects?
I would say that the way that the startup look at the industry right now, it's very different. It's like looking at the internet 25 years ago. So everyone is trying to build startups. They're saying, yeah, I'm going to do social fi, I'm going to do GameFi. But at the end of the day, they don't have a lot of users because, well, it's not their fault. The product is good, but there are not enough users in the world yet to make a groundbreaking startup. And on top of that, because it's new industry, you can see very high valuations on products that you probably won't see in other startups in the traditional industry. So I would say these are the main two problems that we have right now. And behind that, like any other startup, you have problems in the team, you have problems in marketing, you have problems in branding, and it's a tough space.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And what do you think? How should startups attract users? Because that's true. We see so many good projects, like great projects, cool ideas, but without users.
It's a good question. I don't think that I have the perfect answer to this question. I think this is something that everyone is trying to do. I think that in the Web3 space, the users are mainly investors. They are retail investors that dressed into users. In the traditional industries, not the Web3 space, you will see a lot of users that they don't have financial interest in the startup that they are using. But in the Web3 space, everyone have financial incentives behind them because they want to make money. Even if I'm part of social-fi or GameFi project, most chances that I'm there to make money first, because if I just wanted to play games, I would go to play GTA, I would go play Fortnite. I wouldn't be in the Web3 space. But if I'm there to make money. So I think that acquiring users depending on bull and bear market, because on bull markets you have a lot of investors coming in, so naturally you have more users to use your platform. But this is the misconception of users versus investors in the industry, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very interesting version, and yes, I think it makes a lot of sense. And for you, like personally, what are your top 3 criteria for investing in a project?
First, I will look at the founders, how they talk, what have they done before, how did they got into the Web3 space, what made them come here. This is a very, very important factor. I think the next factor is the backers. Who's behind the project. As investor, if I'm looking at big VCs that are getting into a project, most chances are that the project is gonna launch the token eventually and maybe have some liquidity, so maybe I will see return on the money. And the third thing is going back to what we said about users. Are there gonna be potential future users in this product that you are trying to build? And if so, how big it can be. So based on these 3 factors, I can rate a project.
Yeah, the team, the backers, and the users.
The potential, yeah, the growth potential.
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting. And what do you think? You just mentioned social fi, right, and GameFi. What are the most promising areas in Web3 that you believe deserve VC's attention?
It's a good question. I think that AI is it's a very, very good narrative because it's also a narrative in the traditional space. GameFi is not a traditional narrative. It's only a Web3 narrative. So AI is very interesting, in my opinion. And I think that the main focus is DeFi, right? This is the whole concept of the industry. We're looking at decentralized finance. So obviously, naturally, this is the best narrative to look at.
Yeah, but makes sense. But there are a lot of projects nowadays that try to implement AI, right? Just to sell it as AI projects as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You need to look at the project. You need to look at why they are using AI. There are games that are using AI, and there are social fi platforms that are using AI. If there is a real usage for the AI, that's great. That's good. And you still need to look at it. A lot of projects saying, yeah, we're using AI, and they don't have AI system behind the project. I've seen that. But if you have a use for AI, that's good. I think I support.
Okay, thank you. And what do you think? What are the founders' most common mistakes?
It changes. If you will ask me that 6 months ago or 1 year ago, I would say bad use of funds. They don't know how to use the funds. But today, well, maybe it's the bear market, but I've seen a lot of startups that are lack of motivation to actually succeed because they don't see how their product, it can be an amazing product, but they don't see how people are gonna actually use it, and it can become a startup regardless the 30 or 40 million dollar valuation that you have on top of it. So I think that maybe it's something inside it, maybe it's a mentality thing that's gonna change as we go into the bull run, that right now no one is seeing success. Maybe few startups see success in the industry, but 99% of the startups saying that they are building in the bear market, or well, it's the market, and so basically they feel like they are failing because they are not getting new users, they are not getting new backers. But it doesn't mean that the startup is bad. The startup can be amazing. It's just bad timing in the market.
Yeah,
I would say keep the hope up. And just
yeah,
be confident.
Yeah, and go to therapy. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On weekends.
Totally. Yeah. And how can one distinguish scammers from truly valuable projects?
I can't answer that because we will need to wait and see. We will need to wait and see how the market reacts to certain startups. I've seen a lot of good startups on the paper, but at the end of the day, they vanished or they didn't succeed. Like any industry, any market, at the end of the day, this is, and I would say I know it's an interview, but everyone knows that it's a common knowledge. The big boys are the ones that control if a project is going to succeed or not, regardless if the project is high quality project or not. If you will see A16Z and Base coming into a project, suddenly everyone is joining and this product is becoming a big thing. So it's hard to say. Maybe as we go down the line and the market is gonna be bigger, then we will see a better usage of the technology that startups are building, and then we will see startups succeeding on their own, like based on the product that they've built, and not based on connections and backers or luck.
Yeah, I agree. And on your experience, have you ever invested in a project, in a Web3 project that turned out to be a scam or like a major disappointment?
I've been scammed before. I've got mainly scammed by service providers and not by projects, to be honest. Luckily, I didn't invest in any project that was scammed or anything like that. And even if I did, it wasn't in big portion or big investor, just like a tryout. I knew it was like gambling. So
yeah, nice, good for you. And Itay, what do you think? What are some common misconceptions about crypto?
That's a good question. I think that the biggest misconception is the value of Bitcoin. I had a lot of conversation with friends that also learned economics in the universities, and they told me Bitcoin doesn't have a real price. What is the price point based on? I wouldn't invest in it. And I think that's a very big misconception, because it's like gold. What determines the price of gold? Nothing, just supply and demand. Besides the fact that you can make jewelry out of gold, there is no real utility for gold. And most of the gold wasn't built in jewelry formation. It was gold bars. So you can really wear gold bars. It's very heavy. And forward 10 years after the 80s, there is no real gold in the world. It's all digital gold. So it's the same thing. It's just it's a market that opens up, and you need to look at it as a market and not as a stock. If you look at it as a stock, so yeah, you cannot calculate most of the cryptocurrencies, to be honest. You cannot calculate that because they don't have revenue, they don't have realistic future revenue projections, they don't have profits, so you don't really have a leg to stand on. So it's a very big misconception, but it doesn't mean that it's right. Actually, it's very, very wrong. And I think the Bitcoin price very, very realistic at the moment. And if we forward 10 years from now, then it's like, after what's going on with BlackRock and everything that we see right now with the ETF, 10 years from now, the price is really gonna be arbitrage. Like, we don't really know what's gonna happen. You can see Bitcoin at $1 million, and then what justify this price? why this market is worth $13 trillion instead of one, just like gold. So it's the same factor. And I wish people will. I think it's lack of knowledge. If people will know the case of the gold, what's happened with the gold back then, and they will connect the dots, then they will realize that Bitcoin price is not an actual price that they need to look at it like a stock, but as a market and maybe like a move of the big boys.
Totally agree. Thank you. Yeah, it's same with money, like normal money. It's or like money, my bank account. I just believe that it's there, and it's our imagination.
That's it.
Yeah.
No real utility for money as well. You connect the price of Forex, dollar or euro, to the commodities and the transactions that you can make in the real world. But it's just a currency. If you go back 1,000 years ago, the same transactions were made with copper and gold and silver. So what's going to determine the real price of anything, basically, besides us?
Yeah, totally. And what do you think about the concerns about the lack of regulation in the world of crypto?
I think for now, that's good. I think that's a very good opportunity to make a lot of money. This is how you make a lot of money. I think 10 years from now, maybe even less, you will see 100% regulated market, and you won't be able to make the same profits as you are able to do these days. You will see 99% of the companies getting closed. So I would say that right now, I'm happy that there is a lack of regulation. And, it's not, I wouldn't say a lack of regulation. You can see a lot of regulation in the cryptocurrency market, but not 100%. Not yet. So it's just in between. I think it's the best place to be for whoever wants to get into this market and invest. They can make real big money. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, gonna be like any other market. It was the same thing with the stock exchange in the Nasdaq in the United States. You go back 200 years ago, in Israel specifically, you go few dozens of years ago. But the stock exchange was like getting listed on Bitmart or any other exchange that you see in the market. There is no regulation, right? You just need to pay a check, write a check down, and that's it. You are getting listed. But the party is gonna end someday.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you for your honesty. Yeah, Itay. And what advice do you have for someone who is new in the world of crypto?
Be careful, first of all, and I wouldn't say to spend too much money on investments that you think that's gonna succeed, because like we said, there is no real usage of 99% of the product, so you're probably just gambling. So do things carefully, split the money between a lot of projects, don't put everything in one project, and hodl. I would say hodl, and don't use leverage. I think that leverage in this market is one of the main reasons people lose money. And if you want to make money, all the people that I know that actually made money in the space, these are people that just bought and wait 1-2 bull runs, and you're gonna be in a good place.
And what do you think when the market will go up?
I think the market already went up. Everyone is looking at 2 years time frame from now. I'm among them. I don't think it's too hard to understand. Maybe it's hard to understand for people that are not in the industry. If I will go and tell my aunt, there is halving, she wouldn't understand what halving means. But people that are within the industry, it's very easy to see it, especially what's going on with BlackRock. So hopefully we will even see a super bull run. So the market is gonna go up in the next 2 years. When exactly, I don't know.
Thank you so much, Itay, for your time. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm sure it's gonna be a super useful video for our listeners. And thank you again for coming. Have a great
Thank you very much.
day and be safe.
Thank you for having me. You too.